All right, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right, we're going to give all praises to the Most High, Ahaya Ashar Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, for allowing us to see this Sabbath. We're going to go into the law. We're going to start off with the law tonight. We're going to start off with Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. I guess each brother take 4. Well, no, each brother take 3 until we come around full circle. So, yeah, Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. All right.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. Verse 2. And shalt return unto the Most High thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then the Most High Ahaya will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Most High thy power has scattered thee.
Deuteronomy 30 and 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Most High thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Most High thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. Verse 6. And the Most High thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Most High thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Verse 7. And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Verse 8. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Most High thy power will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For the Most High will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers.
Verse 10. And thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto thy Most High power with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 11. For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. Verse 12. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it.
Verse 13. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
Verse 16. In that I command thee this day to love the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Most High thy power shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. Verse 18. I denounce unto you this day, that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land, whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it.
Verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Verse 20. that thou mayest love the Most High thy power, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Most High swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
Aman. And this is a beautiful segue into what we're about to go into today. For those of you guys who've seen the title already online, but I'm gonna just tell us to those in the room, is the title is The God of This World or the God of Jacob. Right? The God of this world and the God of Jacob. Right? And we see Moses was commanded by the Most High to tell the children of Israel, you know, he set before us what, life and death. So basically the choice was, you know, ours at, you know, at that point in time, and it's still ours, right? So the water out for reading of the law. All right. Before we continue, just want to, you know, ask everybody online, just, you know, quickly type it into the chat. How's the sound, audio, visual? Let us know if, you know, if you guys can hear us clearly before we continue. And shalom, Jordan XP. Shabbat shalom. All right. Ready, brother? All right. All right, let's get started. Let's get right into it. And, you know, I hope that you guys was able to hear the intro this week. You know, still working on it. You know, the stream is, you know, not allowing us to play it the way, you know, it was actually created. But, you know, pretty soon, if it be the Most High will. Like I said, you guys see the title of today's lesson, right? The God of this world or the God of Jacob. Okay? And this is something that we actually have to talk about. We have to go into it because, you know, a lot of us growing up, you know, whether it be in these churches or just, you know, just growing up under our parents' roofs, and just living as a simple American or wherever you are in the world, you know, we've been taught that this was a, you know, God controls this world, and, you know, God is controlling government, you know, who we thought was God at the time, you know. And come to find out that everything that this world has been teaching us and we've been practicing is actually contrary to what the Bible is actually saying. So now this is the question that we all must ask ourselves. Are we going to choose the God of this world? All right. Or are we going to choose the God of Jacob? Right. Let's go into the first scripture for tonight. We're going to open up tonight's lesson with 2 Corinthians, right? The 4th chapter and starting at verse 1. Okay, and trust me, we're gonna break this thing all the way down tonight, so that way if someone in the future was to run into this video, they'll understand that they'll have to choose a side. Okay, everybody in this in this lifetime or on this that was born on this planet have to choose a side. And believe it or not, if you haven't chosen the God of Jacob, you have already chosen your side unknowingly. Right? So we're going to start with 2 Corinthians 4:1. Let's see what it says here.
2 Corinthians 4 verse 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of the Most High deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of the Most High.
Go ahead.
But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
So Paul is saying here, if the gospel that we've been entrusted with is hid, is only hid to those that are lost. And you're going to believe it, and you're going to come to find out that the world is actually lost. This gospel is hid to the world because why? This whole world has already made its choice. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. In whom the God of this world.
See, in whom the God of this world
hath blinded the minds of them which believe not.
Have blinded The what?
The minds
The minds of what?
of them which believe not.
Of them that believe not. So the people who don't believe are being blinded by the God of this world. Some people might say to themselves, well, I don't follow Satan. I believe in God. But do you really believe in God? Because this gospel that we're actually preaching has been hid for centuries by the God of this world. Okay? Go ahead. What verse was that?
Verse 4.
Yeah.
In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not,
Go ahead.
lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ,
See, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ,
who is the image of Ahiah,
who is the image of who?
of Ahiah,
That is an Ahiah.
should shine unto them.
And Ahiah, for those of you who might not know, is the name of the God of Jacob in the Hebrew tongue. In the English, his name is I am that I am, but in the Hebrew tongue is translated to Ahiah. Okay? So now, like I said, and like we just read, if the gospel has been hid, it's only been hid to those who are lost. And those who are lost are being blinded by the God of this world. Right? Let's go to Hosea 4:1. Let's get more understanding. So because this gospel has been hid, all right, by the God of this world, the true God now, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Ahiah, has a problem with the inhabitants of the world. Let's read it.
The book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Hear the word of the Most High, you children of Israel.
Hear the word of the Most High, you children of Israel. Go ahead.
For the Most High hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
So we see here that the Most High God is identifying his people at first, the children of Israel, but he's explaining to his very own chosen elect people that he has a controversy with the inhabitants of the earth, of this earth. That consists of all the people, not just the children of Israel. And there's a big significance of why he's explaining it to his chosen people. Because you're going to come to find out that these people had a responsibility that they did not live up to. Right? Read that again.
For the Most High hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
Go ahead.
Because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High Ahiah in the land.
You see that? So the Most High is explaining to us that what? There is no truth or no knowledge or mercy of the Creator on the land. And remember, we just read that the God of this world has blinded the minds of those who are lost. So how did the minds of the inhabitants of this world become lost? How did the whole world become lost and following Satan? How did that happen? We're gonna dig deep into this tonight. We're gonna find out, and we're gonna figure out how did the world get turned over to Satan. Whose fault is it? All right, let's go to the very beginning and see. At one point in time, the world did follow the right and true God. Right? Let's go to Genesis 11. Genesis 11 and verse 1. Let's get some basic understanding that we all should have concerning the right and true God we're supposed to be following, right? Go ahead. Genesis 11 and 1.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 1.
Go ahead.
And the whole earth was of one language.
You see that? At one point in time, the whole earth was under one language. Go ahead.
And of one speech.
And of one speech. And you guys are going to come to find out that language was the language of creation, which is the ancient Hebrew. Okay? Some certain scholars want you to believe that it was Aramaic Hebrew or a different type of language, but the language was the Phoenician Hebrew.
I had someone tell me it was Ethiopian.
Yes, you'll hear some people say that the original language was the Ethiopian language. That's a bold-faced lie. The language that the whole world was under at this time after the flood was the Hebrew language, right? So we see that at this point in time, the whole world had the same understanding. At this point in time, all the people on this earth understood that there was one God, right? Mm-hmm. They understood that there was one God and they was following one God until something happened, right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east,
Mm-hmm.
that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
Go ahead.
And they said one to another, Go to and let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
So you see, at this point in time, all the people on this earth, in that part of the earth at that time, they came together under one consent. And you're gonna find out whose ideology was that to begin with. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language.
You see, behold, the people are one and they have one language. Go ahead.
And this they begin to do.
And this is what they begin to do. Look, we let them operate together. All right, we already showed them who we are, but look what they begin to do against us. And you're gonna come to find out that ideology of them building that tower to reach into the heavens was not their own idea. Okay, because remember, the Most High has a controversy with the inhabitants of this earth. There's no truth or no knowledge or mercy about the Most High on the land. So who's teaching and who's governing the people at this time? Right? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And now nothing will be restrained from them,
Mm-hmm.
which they have imagined to do. Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
So you see that? So the languages had to be changed or had to be confounded to stop this evil plot to try to reach into the heavens. Now, one might say, whose plot was this? Matter of fact, I didn't even put this there. Let's read it. Isaiah 12 and 12, I believe. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 14
And 12.
and 12. Yeah.
Isaiah 14 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Oh, who?
O Lucifer, son of the morning.
O Lucifer, son of the morning. So now that was the question that was asked to Satan. How did you fall from grace? How did you fall from power? How did you fall? You used to live in the heavens, but now you're here on earth. Go ahead.
How art thou cut to the ground?
How are you cut to the ground,
Which didst weaken the nations?
which didst weaken the nations? Right? Go ahead.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
I will what?
I will ascend into heaven.
I will what?
I will ascend into heaven.
So now Satan's plan or Lucifer's plan is to try to get back into the heavens because why? He fell. How is Satan how is Satan doing that on this earth? Using the ingenuity of man. Telling man, look, this is what we can do. Let's all come together under one consent and get up there, because once I'm up there, I'll rule. He's giving them false hope. That same ideology back then is still here to this day. What do you think NASA is about? Them trying to get into the atmosphere, trying to shoot up there. Who do you think they're trying to go and see? That's the same spirit from the Tower of Babel in this ancient time.
And that language program, they changed it from Rosetta Stone to Babel.
You see that?
The name of it is called Babel now.
The new software to try to teach man the same language as from this time is called Babel. You understand? So the God of this world is who the children of men vow to worship. Now we're gonna get into this because we're gonna come to find out that the people of this earth have still vowed to follow the God of this world, knowingly and unknowingly. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to stay in the book of Isaiah. We're going to be in Isaiah a lot tonight. Isaiah 49 verse 5. Right? So we see at this point in time, the whole world knew of a creator, the right creator, but they chose to follow what? The God of this world. Okay? This might be new information for some of you guys because everybody, like I was raised thinking that there was only one God. But you're going to come to find out that there's many different gods. Okay? And the God of this world is above the many other different gods. Lucifer, Satan himself. Okay? Isaiah 49 verse 5.
Isaiah 49 verse 5. And now saith the Most High that formed me from the womb to be his servant.
So you see that? Now we're going to, like I said, we're going to get into what was the responsibility, okay, of God's chosen people to do on this earth. Now we're going to get an idea of how the earth actually went off to follow Satan. Okay? Read that again.
Isaiah 49 and 5.
Yeah.
And now saith the Most High that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him.
See, to bring Jacob again to him, because why? We were lost. Go ahead.
Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Most High, in the Lord, and my power shall be my strength.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
I will what?
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
So we see here that the children of Jacob, or the 12 tribes of Israel, was given the task to be the light unto the Gentiles. That means we were supposed to represent the Most High on this earth instead of representing who? Satan. Because the earth was already following Satan. The whole world was already following Satan until the Most High raised up Abraham. Then he raised up Isaac, and then Jacob, and then the 12 tribes. We were the representation of who the world was actually supposed to follow. But since the fall of the children of Israel, the world has been turned over to who? Satan. Read that again. That last part. I will what? I will also give what?
Verse 6. Isaiah 49 verse 6. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant.
See, so he said it's a light thing that we should be his servant.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
Okay, go ahead.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
Go ahead.
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
He will also give us as a light to the Gentiles.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Why we need to be his salvation? Why we need to help bring salvation on this earth? We're the last hope for salvation on this earth. Because we see that we're not ruling. We see that the knowledge of the truth is not being taught. And the world is following Satan.
You had to flood it again.
Huh?
You had to flood it again.
He would have to, but he made that promise.
He gave us that, yeah, like.
Since he gave us that promise, or he gave us that task to be the light unto the Gentiles, we're the way out. This is why we're asking everybody right now, are you going to choose the God of this world, or are you going to choose the God of Jacob? Because if you look around you, the world has already chosen their side. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 7. Thus saith the Most High, the Redeemer of Israel.
The who?
The Redeemer of Israel.
The Redeemer of Israel. Go ahead.
And his Holy One. To him whom man despises.
See, to whom man despises. Go ahead.
To him whom the nation abhorreth.
See, the nations hate the God of Israel. Why? Because they're getting all their wealth, finance, ingenuity from who? The God of this world. Satan. This is why the world despised the God of Jacob. This is the reason why. Okay? Because the God of this world has already given them their promises. He's giving them their wealth. He's giving them their riches, their power. Okay? Go ahead.
To a servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise.
See, kings shall see and arise.
Princes also shall worship.
See, and princes will one day eventually worship who?
Because of the Most High that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee.
You see that? So through us, we will bring order back on this earth again. And trust me, order will be back on this earth. Because the Most High is doing what he's doing. He's waking up his people. He's raising up teachers. He's raising up young women and young men to stand up for truth and choosing the side. denouncing this world for the world to come. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Psalms 147 and 19. Go ahead.
Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So you see that? So this is how we understand that the world was supposed to follow and serve us. They were supposed to follow, okay? Excuse me, let me rephrase that. They were supposed to follow, and we were supposed to teach them how to serve the Most High. Okay? Because why? We just read here in Psalms 147 verse 19 says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and judgments unto Israel. So we had the right understanding. Our forefathers had the right understanding of who was the creator, how to serve the creator, how to be righteous, how to be, how to execute righteous judgment on the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
He have not dealt so with any other nation. Go ahead.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
Praise ye the Most High.
Praise ye the Most High. So you see that? This is the reason why the world is following Satan. Because those who are given the instructions, the commandments, okay, has fell. And this is the reason why the world has been turned over to Satan, because we were not upholding the law. We was not showing and teaching the world. Why? Because we started to go and follow other gods, and we're gonna go into that tonight, right? So the fact that our forefathers had the correct path, and we left off from that path, this is the reason why the world is the way it is right now, believe it or not. Because the people who's saying that they are us right now, the Jewish people, they're claiming to be the children of Israel right now, but yet the world is still following Satan. If these people were the children of God, as they would like to call themselves, the world would not be following Satan. Satanism would not have been set up on this earth. Religions would not have been set up on this earth. Homosexuality would not have been set up on this earth. That goes to show you that the right people are not ruling right now. It's common sense if you actually read the Bible. Exodus 34. Let's get the command that was given to our forefathers concerning these other gods, or following Lucifer. Exodus 34, and let's take it at verse 12. You there? Mm-hmm. So now let's listen to the instructions that was given to our forefathers concerning the gods of this world.
Exodus 34, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
So you see that? The Most High was warning his people not to make a covenant with the people of that land. Why? Because the people of the land at that, the people of the land in that area was already following Satan. The world was already following Satan. That's just how it is. If you read the Bible, if you're not following the God of Jacob, you're following Satan by default. So this is the reason why the Most High was warning his people not to make agreements with the other nations. Don't deal with them. Don't follow their ways, because they're following the falling one. He's just masked himself with different names. Go ahead.
Verse 13. But ye shall destroy their altars.
You see that? You shall destroy their altars. Their altars was to Satan. Go ahead.
break their images,
break their images. Their images was to the fallen gods and demons. Go ahead.
and cut down their groves.
And cut down their groves. Go ahead.
Verse 14, for thou shalt worship no other God.
You see that? The command was to not to worship any other God. Why? How could the people who were set up to show the world about the right and true God follow a lesser God when we knew the right God to follow in to begin with? You understand? That's like that's like you have a Lamborghini and the Lamborghini was given to you, but you're like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna take this hoopty right here, this little Toyota Civic right here. But you leaving the Lamborghini, but you want to test out the broken down Civic that got over 200,000 miles on it. That's basically what our people did. I'm just trying to put it in the simplest term. You understand? So our people had the right power. They was following the right God from day one. But they choose to follow a lesser God. Continue reading.
14, for thou shalt worship no other God. For the Most High, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
He's a jealous power. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after other gods.
And you do what?
And they go a-whoring after their gods.
And go a-whoring after other gods. And that's talking about you making covenants with different gods. You become like a whore. You're not steady with one person. You're following, you're going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. You're becoming a whore. That's what that means spiritually. Following different gods when we wasn't created to follow different gods. Right? Go ahead.
And do sacrifice unto their gods.
You see, and do sacrifices unto their gods. We wasn't given, the Most High didn't give us over to those gods, but he did that with the nations because they was already following Satan to begin with. We were supposed to show them the right way. We were supposed to turn them, but yet we left off from the Lamborghini and went to the Honda Civic. All right, go ahead.
And do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice.
You see that? Go ahead.
16. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods.
So you see that? So that's another reason why he didn't want us to intermarry with the other nations. According to Deuteronomy the 8th chapter, Deuteronomy the 7th chapter, the Most High commanded us not to intermarry with the other nations because they was going to turn our children from following him into following other gods. That's how deep it is. Go ahead.
The middle of 16. And their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods.
You see that? Go ahead.
17. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods.
So that was the commands. There's a strict command not to follow no other gods. Because once you go into following another god, by default you're following Satan. I don't care how great that religion may sound, or how or they're preaching about peace and saying they're saying they're charitable. If you leave off from following the God of Jacob, you're following Satan. It's cut and dry like that. I'm a Muslim because, Muhammad teaches about peace and we all love. You're following Satan. Where we at?
18.
No, that's it on that, right? So we see that was the command not to follow. So see, our people was warned over and over. Just follow me. The Most High God, the God of our father Jacob, was like, choose me, follow me. See, keep my ways, and I'm gonna make sure y'all live. I'm gonna make sure y'all live long. And through you, through my chosen people, the world will know me. But what happened? What did the Most High's chosen people do? Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 and 15. Right? Let's start there. Let's pay close attention to what was going on with our people at that time.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat.
So Jeshurun is a poetic name or a nickname for the children of Israel. Okay? Jeshurun waxed fat, meaning we've got everything that we've needed under our God. We became lofty. We became as a people who didn't lack anything. Right? Go ahead.
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
Uh-huh.
Thou art waxen fat.
Thou art waxen fat.
Thou art grown thick.
You see that? Thou art grown thick. You see that? You're healthy. And you got everything you want. Different pairs of shoes, garments, head wraps, anything you needed, we had it. Right? So that became to make us become high-minded. Now that gave us time to start pondering about the other nations. I wonder what they dealing with over there. Why they got fire over there and they burning children over there? I want to find out why they burning children over there. And then we went over and said, oh, you get power from that? Then that started to make us, we started to forget. Like, let's read it. Go ahead.
Thou art covered with fatness.
Mm-hmm.
Then he forsook the Most High which made him.
You see that? Our people, our forefathers and foremothers started to forsake the God that made us. Right? Go ahead.
And lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
And we lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. We didn't take to heart how we were saved under the hands of the Egyptians. We didn't really honor that. It was like, oh, that was nothing. Oh yeah, we passed through the Red Sea. It ain't a big deal. I mean, that happened every day.
The water was in the air.
Yeah.
The water was in the air.
We lightly esteemed him. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy.
You see? Go ahead.
With strange gods.
You see? Our forefathers and foremothers started to provoke the right power, the right God, and started following strange gods. This is how the earth fell. This is why the world has been turned. This is how the world is following Satan right now, because we're not ruling. Go ahead.
With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Go ahead.
Verse 17. They sacrificed unto devils.
They sacrificed unto devils.
Not to the Most High.
You see that? Started to sacrifice unto Satan. To get what? Wealth and power. When we already had wealth and power. Right? Go ahead.
To gods whom they knew not. To gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
You see that? Go ahead.
Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful.
You see that? Of the rock that begot thee, that have become unmindful. Started to put the Most High to the wayside. We started to forget about him. All the wonderful things that we had, we didn't glorify him and give him thanks for that. But we wanted to go after the other gods. After being warned repeatedly not to follow Satan, our people started to follow Satan. And you're going to find out there's nothing new under the sun. Because if this gospel be hid, it's only hid to those that are lost. Right? Go ahead.
And has forgotten the Most High that formed thee. Verse 19. And when the Most High saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
You see that? The Most High started to reject his chosen people. The people who were supposed to represent him on this earth, he actually started to reject them. Right? Go ahead.
21. They have moved me to jealousy.
They have what?
They have moved me to jealousy.
They have moved me to jealousy.
With that which is not the Most High God.
You see that? Go ahead.
They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
So the Most High said he will begin to move us to jealousy with those who are not a people. He will start to make the people that was once under us, he would make them be rulers over us. Now you see how our people got integrated into these different religions, into following these strange holidays and worshiping Satan.
And envying the nations.
And you see, we started to envy the nations because he started to make the foolish people lords over us when we had the keys to life. See that? Where you at?
The end of 21.
Uh-huh.
And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So these people that's ruling the world right now is foolish. How foolish can you be to follow Satan? If Satan is all evil, wouldn't that tell you that there should be good somewhere outside of that evil? It can't just be all evil. There got to be good to it. But the thing is, okay, I'm going to tell you right now what the thing is. The thing is, Satan has convinced them to be morally sound is actually to be submissive or you're not living your life. So Satan is actually pushing immorality. This is the reason why people don't have the common sense to be like, yo, that's wrong.
Evil is good and good is evil.
You see that? Read Job 9 and 24. I just want to bring that out too. And after that, we're going to play a short video for you guys so you guys could to sum up everything that we're saying right now, to show you where the world is right now. What time frame are we in right now? What is the world doing? And what is the world beginning to show the people? Okay? Job 9 and 24. Read that real quick.
Job chapter 9, verse 24.
Yeah.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
You see, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Who is that wicked? Satan, Lucifer. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. We're the judges. But because we have been rejected by our God, Satan is allowed to cover our face. He's allowed to blind our minds. As we read earlier. Go ahead.
If not, where and who is he?
If not, where and who is he? Okay? So now you guys have a basic understanding of who the God of this world is. And why the inhabitants of this earth or the people of the world is actually following the God of this world. They actually think that it's a good thing to follow him. And those who are saying that I'm not a Satanist, I don't follow Satan. Okay? Those people who are saying that, you're still following Satan. Because you're living as you want. Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Take this cool now.
You want to just do what you want to do, not answer to nobody. You're a Satanist. Matter of fact, let's play this video real quick. We're going to play it through the projector so that you guys can see it. And I want you guys in the room to see it too. Just to show you guys that they're revealing who their God was this whole time. They're just showing the world who your God is.
Albert Pike, baby.
You all right? Yeah, we have to turn up the light. Turn up the light real quick and turn on that. Yeah. So now pay attention to this little video. All right?
Is he refocusing?
Yeah. Let's move.
That's not.
You're charging.
No, Alex.
You got the volume? Got the volume?
Hail, comrades! Hail, sisters and brothers, and hail Satan!
Hail Satan.
We are gathered here to celebrate the spirit of humanity and the dawn of a new American era. In a season when many commemorate the birth of Christ, we commemorate our own Genesis, the enlightenment of all humanity, a revelation of our nature as written in the annals of history, a gift from Lucifer, the light bringer, the morning star, and the rebel. We are Satanists. We engender moral, spiritual, and sexual freedom, personal independence, and insist upon personal choice in all things. We care for the significance of the individual spirit and personal moral responsibility. If you stand here today and embrace your nature, are free-thinking, self-governed, and godless, you too are a Satanist in the eyes of many in your own community, including those who represent you in your governments. We are also Americans, a nation born of many women seeking asylum from a majority religious group in control of political power who punish those who oppose them. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, our civil rights have no dependence on our religious opinions any more than the opinions in physics or geometry. On these very steps, 2 weeks ago, hundreds of Christians gathered to demand exclusion of our fellow countrymen from the right to join in marriage under the guise of religious freedom. They slandered the name of this great country for embracing the diversity of its citizens. They cheered and praised when called upon to radicalize. For too many, religion has become an excuse to exclude, to hate, and to destroy. It is time for us to merge our differences and realize that we have a common problem. It matters not if you are a Baptist or a Methodist, a Muslim, or if you are faithless. You see, we are not anti-Christian and we are not anti-religion, but we are anti-degradation and we are anti-oppression. For too long, the satanic characterization has been invoked by the righteous to control the outsider. For too long, we have submitted on knees in servitude to the ministers of shame. Shall we surrender to the siren song of the religious right until she transforms us into beasts? Satanism is a philosophy of action, and those who desire and act not breed pestilence. We do not seek followers. We are seeking collaborators. Individuals for a visionary satanic alliance. Leaders of the new American era. But we have to do more than just these to ensure a free America. We have to do more when the belief in archaic illusions of an ancient religion is a mandatory requirement for our elected representatives. We have to do more when our government determines our sexuality for us. We have to do more when children are denied the home of loving parents because the genders of their partner. We have to do more when women are denied access to reproductive health care and vilified as murderers by those who represent them in the government. The word of God has been evoked time and time again to justify the opposition to civil rights movements, to squash women's liberation, to target medical treatment for HIV, and end same-sex marriage. That is not religious freedom. The inclusion of all is not oppression. And the voices of the minority are not valueless. That is not our America. And it is time to awaken. These so-called godly institutions call themselves victims and call for radicalization. This is a snake upon our hooves. America is not an instrument of any one religious group. Do you want to be part of a sleeping world? Do you want to gorge on the drug of the commonplace? Will you forever remain addicted to the oppressive traditions of a counterfeit morality? But we must tell those people who represent us. As we stand on the crossroads of history, let us confront the blind and self-righteous, the persecutors of thought and reason. Let us rise up in celebration of our satanic nature and cast our chains into the dust of hell. Those who boldly propose that organizations of faith hold a leading role in guiding American policy and justice, I solemnly and with great sincerity thank. Satanic America has heard your call to action. If religion is to lead in areas which have traditionally been left to secular democracy, we will do our duty too, to bring the insights of our satanic to the state house, to the courthouse, to schools, and of course, homes and businesses of America. Wherever and whenever diverse religious guidance is needed. All hail the new American era.
Get the lights. All right. As you brothers and sisters could see, they're now revealing to the world who the God of this world is. This was in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Okay. Some of the things that she was saying they being a Satanist, or what they're looking for is sexual freedom. Okay, you could be with who you want to be with, whatever you want to be with, animal, man and man, woman and woman. That's a Satanist. So let me continue. They want to be free from the moral standard. So to be free from the moral standard, and the moral standard of the Most High is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you actually choose an immorality. That's what it is. Their Satanism is immorality, being immoral, not having a conscience of right from wrong. Do as thou wilt, right? And she also said that she wanted the public to know that they're not anti-Christian, or they're not anti-religion. Why? Because religion is Satanism by default. Let me just put this out. I'm gonna just run down the list real quick. If you are a homosexual, you are a Satanist. If you agree, okay, with abortion like being abortions, having the right to take a life, you are a Satanist. Because why? Satan is against life. Okay, if you follow these Babylonian holidays, you are a Satanist. Okay, if you contribute to these holidays, you are a Satanist. And that's the scary thing, because a lot of people don't really understand that they're practicing Satanism, but they don't understand that. Okay, right? What else? Did I leave anything out? If you are a part of any religion, you are a Satanist. Okay. Mm-hmm. Something else I wanted to bring out too. If you are an atheist, by default you are a Satanist. Okay, and we're here to call it out. We're not trying to sugarcoat it, because why? It's been too long that this world's been following Satan, and now here we got it here. We got them witches and warlocks showing it and showing the world like, yo, it's time to bring it forth. It's time to show the world that this is satanic America. They want to push it in your schools, to your children. They want the right for a child to be in a genderless home. This is a satanic society, and they clearly have chosen their side, their God. But they're just trying to show the world like, look, you guys have been acclimated to this God already. We're just calling it as it is. Okay? This is where the world is right now. And there are some who have knowingly, okay, made their choice, made their decision. Okay? And this is gonna be pushed more and more. So it's our job as the children of Jacob to bring forth the truth concerning the God of this world and who we need to be following, and we're going to teach as much people as we can before it's all done to choose the God of Jacob. Right? Mm-hmm. Get Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30 verse 8.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8.
Go ahead.
Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. Verse 9. That this is a rebellious people.
Look at that. The Most High know that we are rebellious people. That's why he said to write these words so that it could be there forever and ever. Because he know that his people is a rebellious people. He know the majority of his people is following Satan. He understands that. Go ahead.
Lying children.
Lying children.
Children that will not hear the law of the Most High.
You see that? Children that will not hear the law of the Most High. How do we know that's talking about us? Because the world is following Satan. If the children of Israel was ruling right now, the world would not be following Satan. We would not have allowed that to take place. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit.
You see, our people don't want to hear the truth. Our people rather stay asleep and continue on their traditions and unknowingly following Satan. Why? Because when the Bible is open and them laws is coming out, our people don't want to hear it. Why? Because they've already been conditioned to do what they want to do. That's Satan's philosophy. Our people has already been brought into the system and don't even know it. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
See, our people don't want to hear about the right God, because why? They already have their God. What you mean we can't celebrate Christmas? Yeah, you ain't taking away Christmas from me. We can't gather on Thanksgiving no more? Nah, that can't be God. Whatever God you following, I don't want that God. Come on, brother. You know Sunday is the Sabbath, man. Sunday is the Sabbath. They want to hear about their God, but they don't want to hear about the God of the Bible. Because if we came to you and told you that the God of the Bible said you're not supposed to be following Christmas, you're already gonna make your choice. We're telling you you're not supposed to be following on Sunday. You made your choice. You see that? Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. So unknowingly, our people has already made their choice. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
because ye despise this word,
Because you despise the word of the Most High
and trust in oppression,
and trust in oppression. You see that? The foolish nations that's over you, you trust in their philosophies. You trust in their teachings. And you trust in their God. We're just bringing it right out. We're just showing you. It's cut and dry. Go ahead.
and trust in oppression and perverseness,
And trust in oppression and in perverseness.
and stay thereon.
Mm-hmm.
13. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach, ready to fall.
So you see that? Your lifestyle has already causing you to fall. Go ahead.
Swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Verse 14.
Now that's it right there.
Sit on that.
So you see that? So our people love oppression. Our people rather hear about another God rather than the very God that chose them. Not understanding that through us comes the redemption of this world under Christ. You see that? This world has already chosen their God. And like I said earlier, if you're not following the God of Jacob, by default, you are following Satan. If you are immoral, you want to do what you want to do, you want to follow your own ways and your thoughts, you have become a Satanist. You are a practice Satan. You are a practice Satanist. And a lot of people might get it twisted, like, I don't call upon Satan's name. I don't give things to Lucifer. Yes, you do. Okay? Because the God of the Bible would not tell you to do the things that you're doing. The God of the Bible would not, or the God of Jacob would not command you to abort your child. The God of the Bible, the God of Jacob, would not tell you to say it's okay to be a homosexual. He didn't create homosexuality. Okay? He didn't create the worships of different gods. He didn't create that. So who gave you your understanding? Who gave you Christmas and all these Babylonian holidays? Who gave you that? Not the God of Jacob. We're here to show you and the world that the God of Jacob is is drawing a line in the sand. And he's using his people to show the world the way. And it's up to you if you whether want to hear and forbear it. Okay? Isaiah 29:9. Go ahead.
Isaiah 29, verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder.
Stay yourselves and wonder.
Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink.
So the Most High said that these people, or the people of the earth, predominantly his chosen people, they're drunken, but they're not with wine. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. For the Most High hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
You see that? The Most High have poured upon our people a spirit of deep sleep. Why? Because they say, prophesy to me smooth things. I don't want to, you reading out the Bible again? I don't want to hear that Bible. I don't want them laws. I want to do as I wilt. So the Most High is like, okay, you want to do what you want to do? I'll keep you asleep. I'll give you all the way over to Satan. You was on the fence with Satan. Now the Most High is like, nah, you can have him all the way over. That's where the world is right now. Go ahead.
And hath closed your eyes.
And have closed your eyes. Go ahead.
The prophets of your rulers, the seers hath he covered. Verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you, as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed.
So you see that? So this is why the majority of the people cannot understand the Bible. This is the reason why a lot of people can't understand the prophecies that we sometimes bring out. Why? Because it's like they're reading a book that's been sealed. Their mind and their eyes has been sealed to understand and to decipher the prophecies in this Bible. Why? Because you're not even following the God who even wrote this Bible. So how are you going to understand the words of the God of this Bible? It's impossible. Because by default, you are a Satanist. But we're here to tell everybody that you can come out of Satanism. You could come back and follow the God of Jacob. You can be redeemed by the Savior of Israel, Christ, Yeshua, or who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But you have to give up the God of this world. There's no way you can follow the God of this world and follow the God of Jacob. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned.
See, the book is delivered to them that is not learned.
Saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned.
So you see, they're telling you, I don't understand this. You bringing this book for me for? Like, I don't know what this means. Yo, just do what you want to do, man. You don't got to be following no book. That book was man-made. See, now you start to believe that the book was man-made. A white man wrote that book. That's what you're going to start to say.
And live your life.
Live your life, man. You don't know how to follow that, man. Look, I got a couple of things back in the house, man. We could take care of that. And we could do that, man. We don't got to go to no Bible church, man. You don't need none of that. Why? Why are they telling you that? Because the book is sealed to them. They have already chose their God. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Wherefore the Most High said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do they honor me.
And with their lips do they honor me.
But have removed their heart far from me.
You see that?
And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
And their fear of me has been taught by the precepts of men. Okay? People learn how to fear the Most High through the ideology of what somebody else says. Everybody have their way of how to follow God. or the Most High? Nah, you don't got to do that, man. All you got to do is just be a good person. Nah, you don't got to be a good person. All you got to do is just give some money away. Do some charity. Oh, nah, you don't got to do that. Just say thank you once in a while. Everybody have their own understanding of how to follow the God of Jacob. Why? Because the people of Jacob, or the people of the Most High, have not been teaching the world. It starts with us. What verse you was at?
14.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people,
Mm-hmm.
even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish,
For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish.
and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid.
See, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Why? Because the Most High will raise us up to confound their education, to confound their medication, to confound their knowledge and understanding of what life is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 45:4. This is how it's going to be done. This is how it's going to be done. Go ahead.
Isaiah 45, verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name.
Mm-hmm.
I have surnamed thee,
You see that? Go ahead.
though thou hast not known me.
See, even though we have not known the Most High at one point in time, why? Because our forefathers left off from following him and following other gods, but he still has called us. He will still choose his people to do what on this earth? To rule, to help save the people from the God of this world. Go ahead.
Verse 5. I am the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and there is none else.
There is none else.
There is no God beside me.
See, there was no other God besides me. No other power than the power of Jacob. Go ahead.
I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Most High Ahiah, and there is none else.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. I form the light
You see that?
and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Most High, do all these things.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. Drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Most High, have created it. Verse 9. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
So this is for the unbelievers. For the people who want to do what they want to do and feel like the Bible is a fairy tale. And you want to just do you. You want to you want to live your life and say, yo, we only live once, man. Just do it. Just do it up, man. Do it big. Live fast and die young. Like that's the most craziest statement I've ever heard. You trying to live fast and die young at the same time.
That was when I knew the earth was going down on wheels.
When you heard that phrase.
I knew when it was finished.
That's a song.
Yeah.
You want to live fast and die young. And that could only be a design from Satan himself. You think Satan wants people living? You think he cares about creation? We are the product of creation that he hates. No wonder he teaches you to do what you want to do and live fast and die young. Because why? The Most High God, the God of Jacob, brings life. He's not trying to prolong your life. Read that again.
Verse 9. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Go ahead.
Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth.
Go ahead.
Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, What makest thou? Or thy work? He hath no hands.
So you see that? So the Most High is asking a question. Can a pot say to the potter, why have you made me this way? Why, how come you didn't form me with a handle? Why you just made me like this? Like, can it say that? No, it can't. Go ahead.
verse 10. Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman, What hast thou brought forth?
So woe unto the man who says to their father, why did you create me? Why did you make me? It's like even saying to the Most High, why did you even make me? Why am I even here? You don't know why you're here because why? You haven't been taught why you're supposed to be here. You've been taught that you're supposed to get old, work, get old, get married, have a house, retire, and then just die. That's what you've been taught. But you haven't been taught your purpose. All right, go ahead.
Verse 11. Thus saith the Most High, the Holy One of Israel.
The who?
The Most High, the Most High, the Holy One of Israel.
See, the Holy One of Israel.
And his Maker.
And his Maker, go ahead.
Ask me of things to come concerning my sons. And concerning the work of my hands, command ye me. I have made the earth.
See, he have made the earth. Go ahead.
And created man upon it. I, even my hands, have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded.
Go ahead.
I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives. Not for price nor reward, saith the Most High, power of hosts.
So you see that? The Most High is the creator. He created the earth that Satan is actually ruling under. He created it all. And he's created Christ that will save us out of the hands of the God of this world. You see, a lot of people don't understand that this world is satanic. It's satanic. It's evil.
Top to bottom.
Okay? And if you not following the God of Jacob by default, we're just here to warn you. Okay? That you are following Satan. And you have a chance to come out of that. To repent. Be baptized. Follow the commands of the Most High. Okay? You have a chance to come out of that. You gotta take a stand for something. Or continue to take a stand with Satan. All right? And I'm gonna just bring up the scripture that you pointed out to me. 2 Peter 2:2. Or well, start at verse 1.
Second Peter chapter 2, verse 2.
Verse 1.
Verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Most High that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
See that? So in the midst of this time, right, there'll be people with their own, like we said earlier, people with their own ideology. Man, you don't need that book. Man, this is the real way. This is how you gonna make it. But that's to their own destruction, right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Pernicious ways. By reason of whom the way of the truth shall be evil spoken of.
You see that? The way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. Why? Because the God of this world has blinded the minds of those who are lost. All right? So if that in a nutshell is the lesson for this Sabbath, right? Just want people out there to understand that the children and the sons and daughters of Jacob is back. And we're here to show the world who is the right and true God. And who the world needs to be following. And we are here to shed light on that. Right? So let's move right over to the comment board real quick and go through the comments and questions.
somebody like ruling them to like bring that idea?
Well, at that time, the person who was ruling at that time was Nimrod, King Nimrod. And he was after the flood. Well, because like when you go through the history after the flood, Shem, Ham, and Japheth they repopulated the earth. Nimrod was a son of the seed of Ham, and he at that time was a ruler. But a lot of people don't know that he actually linked in with the fallen god of this world, which is Satan himself. That's how he had the understanding of how to build cities. We were not supposed to build cities the way we see how we have cities right now. That's an ancient practice that was been done since back then. Building cities and having everybody come in one city and having one ideology, one under Satan. Nah, it was never supposed to be that way. So that's how that actually whole construct during the time of Babylon or Babel actually happened, right?
If I could add on to what you said, to how he was comparing it to today, at that same exact time, the Most High had blessed Nimrod with a skill. So everyone began to like Nimrod because of how he was operating with his blessing. And then as soon as he gained the liking of the people, he switched to Satan and then lied to the people of why they should build the tower. That's how he did it. And he was telling them everything that we have is not of the Most High, it's of our own will.
So like Satan blesses you with good things.
Yeah, well of course. That's why, the same way the Most High God requires a sacrifice, Satan as well requires a sacrifice. But the sacrifice that he offers you is always in blood, right? But with that, you get temporary wealth and riches and fame. That's what he gives you. You understand? But at the end is you losing your own soul. That's what they don't see. They believe that he will go back into the heaven. This is what he teaches them. That he will go back and rule, and he will fight the Creator and win. But that's, common sense should tell you if he's not the Creator, who is the Creator then? If he doesn't have the power to create, who created him? All right. So that's just that, right? Levi says, Shabbat Shalom, Levi. He says, what's the name of that video? You sent it? All right, you sent it. All right, good.
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah, you sent it already. All right, good.
Yeah.
Levi also says, boy, this a lesson I've been looking to show people. Something for people to really, really evaluate if what they are doing is right. Khan. And all praise to the Most High for putting it in our spirit to, put this lesson together. Right? You had.
Yeah, I was gonna say excellent lesson, and also like between choosing the God of this world and the God of the Bible. A lot of the times, like Christians, even Muslims, like they just think, oh, there's just one God, like. And the scripture says there's many gods, but there are no gods at all. But there's many false gods.
Right.
And then also I like the scripture in Deuteronomy 30 and 1, when it says, and it will come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which goes to show, like in Deuteronomy 28, it says, if you do all these commandments and you'll be blessed, and then later on, I think in 15, if you don't do these things, then all these curses.
Right.
But then in 30 and 1, it confirms that we didn't keep the commandments and all these cursings would come to pass. It's not like there was a possibility that we kept the commandments.
Yeah.
And the curses didn't.
So it's showing that we would actually eventually fall.
Exactly.
Right. Khan.
And then I really, really like in Deuteronomy 30 and 6 when it says, and the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul that thou mayest live. And then it goes into how when Christ was saying, this is the old, I didn't come to bring you a new commandment, this is the old commandment which you have heard from the beginning. And then here it is when we're just continuously commanded to love God with all our heart. That was it.
All right, that's great. Excellent insight.
But yeah, and also what we were talking about earlier, how when Esdras asked the Most High, how come you didn't take away the wicked heart? And here it goes to show, like, even though we're gonna fall because we all fall, but if you try to keep the commandments and you're really doing it out of an earnest heart, the Most High will circumcise your heart and He will help your children as well.
Con. Your son to say?
Yeah, I really like how you brought out Deuteronomy 32, and that really made me think about Jeremiah 2 from 11 to 14, how we changed and started worshiping other gods, and how the Most High was just like, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Like, I think that's crazy how we once had everything, and now we're like serving other people.
The Most High said that would happen, because he said what? I will put a foolish nation over you. Yeah, you want to choose them? It's all right. I'll make them rule over you now.
You know what it's like? It's like the movie Coming to America. When Eddie Murphy rather be a servant in the foreign country just to get the girl.
Yeah.
Then his father came with all the royalty.
Yeah.
And his father was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
For this girl? And then the mom, don't worry, he loved her.
He was willing to give up everything for the girl. And you see,
Everything.
willing to give up kingship. And look, the fact that he was willing to choose a girl, he started to forget his heritage.
Exactly. He did.
That's a crazy, that's a great comparison. Yeah, man.
Now could you imagine how the father felt? The same way the Most High is like, what are you doing?
You guys choosing them over us? Over me?
He was working at McDonald's, and when the father came, he said, "Where's my son? I'm looking for him." He said, "He's at McDonald's." He said, "Where's he doing there?" He said, "Oh, he's just working." He's like, "My son works?"
Yeah, he was tight. Yeah. Exactly.
So, and we're a nation. He was just a son.
Right. Imagine. It's a great comparison. Somebody else has something to say?
And then when you went into Isaiah 29, it just brought me to Romans 11 about when Paul is like, our people are under deep sleep and they don't have eyes to see. And it just like confirms in the New Testament what was said in the Old.
Right. Con.
Excellent lessons at first, and like 1,000,000,001 scriptures came to my mind. So I'm gonna have to condense this, but first, Christ said it best: no man can serve two masters. Either you'll love one or you'll hate the other.
Right.
The other.
Con.
And with that, I would just want to read one scripture, with 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. But I want to read it with the idea of knowing that Christ was like, we're supposed to take on his legacy when he left, and to take on and learn from Peter, his rock and disciples, right? And 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the Most High. And it's interesting to see how in 2017, so-called, we're casting down imaginations. All the things you name exalts itself against the Most High. You hear people who's Muslim, Islam is not a religion. It's a way of it's a way of life to bring forth peace and unity. First off, the disciples took everybody's stuff and shared it among the people. That's the greatest unity that there ever was. And peace, Christ is peaceful. So I'm not hearing that. So it's like to cast down imaginations to see how you did it, clean, cut, and dry with the sword. Praise the Most High.
All praise to the Most High. Yeah.
Also, I really liked where Isaiah 29 verse 12, where you were saying that like the book is sealed, because it's like people in like churches are reading this and it's like
They can't see the words.
Like
It's been sealed.
Like Nikki just told me about like Matthew 4 verse 8. All these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Like,
Oh yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So like I said, we got to give all praise to the Most High, because He's the one who removed that veil from us and allow us to see. Because everybody in here and the people streaming online, have chosen their side. We've chosen to follow the God of Jacob. You understand? And this is how we know that the world is not following the right God, because I wasn't taught who the God of Jacob was in these churches or in school or just living, a regular everyday life. I didn't know about who he was. I just said to myself, okay, there's a God, but I couldn't identify who this God is. But if we were set up as a people, we would know exactly who he is. And if the Jewish people are supposed to be who they're supposed to be, They would have taught us who he is, so that way we could follow him too. Because they're supposed to, i.e., be a light to the Gentiles. And they consider us the Gentiles. But what light are they bringing to us? They want us to start dressing all black and looking like wizards? No. That's not something that I want to do. You understand? I'm sorry. But yeah, all praise to the Most High, you know. I'm happy that you got the understanding for that. And make it quick. We're gonna have to go back to the comment board, but you see, Pat.
Here's a quick question. Galatians 5 and 11.
You said Galatians.
Yeah, I have a question on
Galatians 5 and 11.
Yeah, what was Paul really saying?
You want to read it?
Galatians 5 and 11. And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution? Then is this the offense of the cross ceased? What
Paul was bringing forth, he was actually trying to show them like, yo, I'm preaching circumcision. I'm of the circumcision. I'm a Jew. Okay? So he's basically saying like, I preach this. Like, I know that I'm for the Jews. But if I preach that over the cross, then Christ's sacrifice it doesn't matter. That's why he said what? He said, then is the offense of the cross cease. So if I rather preach circumcision, then I wouldn't have to bring to you Christ no more. Then we wouldn't be having this discussion anymore. It's because of the fact that they didn't want to hear Christ, but he was trying to say like, yo, even though I'm for Christ, I'm still for the Jews too, because I preach circumcision.
So he's basically saying, because the way I thought of it was like he was basically saying that I do preach circumcision because can't you see that I used to be a Pharisee? I know
Yeah, basically that's the whole thing. That's basically how he's summing it up to them. He's like, if I rather preach to you the circumcision, then the offense of the cross will cease. Meaning, I'm not gonna preach Christ no more. So that way you can stop being offended because I'm bringing forth Christ. Just because I'm bringing forth Christ doesn't mean I'm not for the circumcision. That's basically the understanding. Hold on. Go to the comment board real quick.
Tashina Levi referred to you to read the book of Jasher. There's a lot of information about the Tower of Babel.
Oh yeah. Anybody have the copy of Jasher in here?
Not on there. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
You have it?
You can show.
You can show it to her.
Pages that speaks about it.
All right, hold on.
Levi says, referring to what I was talking about coming to America, he says, and the mom was speaking about love. Well, what he should have did was came here, found the bride, and took her back and rule under his father in Africa.
And try to,
not be a servant here and get her here.
And you see, and then that also symbolizes too is that he had to conform to her to get her. When we never supposed to conform to the other nations or whatever the case is. We're supposed to be who we are and have them come to the light.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to downgrade himself for her. Yeah, it's
that could have been a hidden message in the movie.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it's crazy thing when you think about it.
Then he goes on to say, sounds like the story of Judah when he fell to fornication and drunkenness and lost his diadem and his rulership written in the 12 patriarchs.
Khan. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Lator, Shalom Lator, Lot. Thanks for watching.
Shalom.
What is the chapter and verse when Christ said that he came not to bring a new law but to continue the old?
Matthew 5 and 17 on down. You put it already? Okay. Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 on down.
Oh, Shalom Avery.
Shalom Ak.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, brother.
He goes, great lesson, the word in season. Relates to many of the questions I posed to some of the Christian brothers over here, unfortunately.
Khan, yeah. I mean, that's some of the things that we got to ask, our brothers and sisters. Whether they be caught up in religions or they don't follow religion at all. We just got to bring all people back to the understanding that there's only one true God, and that's the God of Israel. And his laws is what we need to be following. We can't be lawless.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Who?
Yeah. That's it.
Now, anybody else had anything else? Or just...
Only one last comment I would like to say. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Since I think I need you to follow me somewhat on this. You know, throughout Scripture, God is our Father, He's our Creator, and throughout Scripture, He said He's loving, compassionate, and slow to anger, right? And He makes all the provisions for us, and He's like from creation to now. But I like in Deuteronomy 30, verse 11, it says the offer of life or death. And so when you look at parenting, and you look how we fathers us, you know, He said what He's asking them, it's not too difficult.
Of course, right.
You don't have to go anywhere for this. You don't have to go to the heavens. You don't have to send anybody to the sea. The word is right.
It's right here.
next to you. All I'm asking you to do, it says so right here. It says the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and it's in your heart, so that you may obey it. And then He's telling them now what He's going to offer them: prosperity or death. If you do this, this is what you're going to get.
Life
if you do this
or
is
death.
the punishment. And then He takes it another step further. He said, you know what? You don't have to think. I'm going to tell you, take life. You know? That's what He said. You know, He said, because I create you and I'm doing all of this, take life. And there is still disobedience.
Yep. This is.
You know, you tell your kids.
Don't do it, right.
But you still bail them out. And so that's why Scripture said He's passionate and loving. Because when he hears the cries, what did He do? He sent them a message.
Exactly, but you know, through the temptations of this world, and you know how, yeah, people are falling every day.
So
the world is falling. That was a great insight. You see, you had your final.
Yeah, it would have been Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountain. They have gone from a mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. And to just link that with the scripture in Isaiah, I think where Isaiah was like, the ox knows his owner.
And the sheep.
And the sheep. And the
Yeah, it's Isaiah first chapter. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
praise the Most High that we woke up.
Yeah. All praises to the Most High. Can't take the credit for this awakening. Strictly the Most High and Christ.
I have to say, when it was Isaiah 49, before you went into it, it was like when we was in a Christian church, and before there was like many other gods, and we fell to that. And the scripture, as soon as you said that, came to mind was Psalm 96:4, when it says, "For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the other nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens." And as soon as you said that, I'm like, that's crazy, because as soon as you're coming out the world, you know, you start realizing like the other churches or any other type of religion, they worship other gods. The Catholic Church has all those statues and whatnot. And then to like top it off was when, and then you know, like you said, going through this bad priestess is running through Jeremiah 22 and whatnot. But then to like make to close the story was when like Jeremiah 30, I'll read it. It's also to lean back on what Alex just said. But it's the positive side. Because you know, the Most High always brings us back.
Right.
For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers have no more served themselves of him. Yes. How we're coming back to the Most High.
Right. Exactly. The Most High is fulfilling it. He's teaching us. He showed us who He was first. Then He showed us who Christ really was, and now here we are. Right, Khan. Yeah, man. So once again, we want to give all praises to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Rawak, right? That's the Holy Spirit. Like I said, huh?
Oh, adios.
I can't read that.
Oh,
Yeah, you
you
can
read it?
All right, well, I mean, y'all can figure that out. All right, so we're gonna
Oh, my uncle didn't respond.
we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. We want to thank you all for for streaming, being a part of the class tonight, and keeping the Sabbath with us. Like I say every week, you could have been anywhere, but you're here with us tonight, right?
Levi made it.
Levi has something else.
Close to what Jazz was telling me, that Christ spoke Aramaic.
Yeah.
That's what Jazz was telling
Yeah.
me.
Have you guys heard that Christ spoke Aramaic? Yes, we've heard that before, but that is completely and utterly wrong, because Christ and the disciples, they spoke the Phoenician Hebrew.
Yeah, that's what Jazz was telling me.
Yeah, there is an Aramaic Bible saying Christ's original language is Aramaic. Yeah, that's just a diversion. That's a diversion to try to get you away from the ancient Phoenician. But Christ didn't speak Aramaic Hebrew. Spoke
something translation.
Yeah, he spoke the Phoenician Hebrew.
I would stay out of that.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't even deal with that. Deal with the King James Version Bible like we're dealing with right now. And the Septuagint is good as well, but preferably, the King James Version Bible. But with that being said, we want to bid you all Godspeed until next week. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath, brothers and sisters. Be warriors for the Most High. Take a stand and continue striving, fighting for the truth of the Most High, right, under Christ. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna bid you Godspeed and say Shabbat Shalom. Until next week. All right. See you next week.
Really?